Swallowed Ster Episode 947, All of You Shall Die. Inside the dark and ancient palace, there were only 9 crystal balls giving out dimming light, illuminating the entire palace. When the 299 great beings flew into the palace, Wandong River was already sitting in the throne and looking down with a smile on his face. "You can start to know the real inheritance now that you've arrived here," he said. "Inheritance? Real inheritance?" Every power knew that only one could receive the complete inheritance. However, even if one could only receive part of the inheritance and bring back the information, it would be worth it. Even part of the inheritance might provide a way to transcend incarnation. "Once I find a way, I'll self-destruct," said some. "I have other bodies, so I can still live. But if I'm attacked by Wandong River, I might die forever." Many great beings who had overcome the first obstacle thought this way. There were 299 great beings. 2 of them had overcome the third obstacle, and 5 had overcome the second obstacle. There wouldn't be any chance for those who had only overcome the first obstacle. If they were smart, they should have just gathered some information and left immediately. Wandong River, seeing those great beings excited, said, "Don't hurry. Theoretically, you can all start the real inheritance. However, I have something to ask." "Ask?" Everyone was anxious. They all cursed Wandong River for creating so much trouble. "I'll spare the other candidates, but I do want to ask the 7 Universe Supreme Masters." Wandong River looked down at the 7 Universe Supreme Masters. Out of the 7, 6 were from the first universe era while 1 was from the second. They were way behind this time, and they had been crushed during the Rhinoceros game. "If you don't answer appropriately, you lose your chance to receive inheritance," said Wandong River. The 7 Universe Supreme Masters were shocked. "It's not that I'm not giving you a chance, but Wandong River has special requirements for miniature universes," said Wandong River. "Once a miniature universe is formed, the path will be restricted. If the structures of your miniature universes cannot meet my requirements, you won't be qualified to receive inheritance." "Ah. The structures of miniature universes?" All the Universe Supreme Masters were dazed. Universe Masters and Universe Knights are relatively weak and haven't formed miniature universes yet, said Wandong River. "They don't have this problem. The one who receives the inheritance from Wandong River will be instructed how to structure his miniature universe. However, they are already fixed. Let me ask you this. What are your miniature universes like?" Well, all the Supreme Masters were hesitant. They all desired to answer with the kind of miniature universes Wandong River wanted, yet they could just invent an answer. Wandong River wasn't dumb enough to accept it. At the same time, other 292 great beings were all relieved, as it was the Universe Supreme Masters who had to take the bullet. No wonder, thought Wolfing. He understood now. No wonder the 2 Holy Lands didn't send any Universe Supreme Masters. It seems that Wandong River allows Universe Supreme Masters to become inheritors, but he has set an extremely high threshold, as well as special requirements for the structures of miniature universes. The Universe Supreme Masters don't even have miniature universes anymore, so there aren't any structures. But there are requirements for miniature universes. The Universe Masters, Universe Knights, and Undying Fighters broadened their horizons. They weren't in any trouble, but they were interested in learning the requirements for the structures of miniatures universes. "Just tell me." Wandong River frowned. "What are you waiting for? You, speak first." He pointed at Taibu Demon Master. Taibu Demon Master was hesitant, then said, "When I turned into a Universe Supreme Master from a Universe Master, I created 8 dimensions around the miniature universe: gold, wood, water, fire, mud, wind, thunder, and light. They're all connected to the universe origin and stabilizing the small universe. Ordinary laws." Wandong River smirked and shook his head. Next, he looked at Second True Master. Taibu Demon Master shook his head and sighed, as he knew that he had no chance. Second True Master became anxious. He began to make things up. "I've created 10,081 miniature dimension spaces. And each of the dimension spaces is connected to the universe origin, leading to an energy space. Besides, the 10,081 spaces form the space engraving in the shape of a sword." "Just so?" Wandong River looked to Second True Master. Second true master kept speaking. Of course not. I've also created 1001 small dimensions, forming time engravings, which is also in the shape of a sword. The time engraving and space engraving are intertwined. You're just making things up, said Wandong River. Your miniature universe would have been in a mess if that were the case. Next. Aha! Some of the great beings couldn't help laughing. Second true master glanced around, angry. He had, indeed, been making things up, as it was a completely imaginary structure. After all, when he was breeding the universe, he was very careful, and he didn't dare to be bold. When I became a universe supreme master, God Kingdom became a small universe, which has 8 periphery worlds and 2 core worlds. It's extremely stable. Even though it's stable, it's difficult to improve. Wandong River shook his head. Next. All the universe supreme masters were trying to make up lies to satisfy the requirements of Wandong River, but he was not fooled. Next. Aha, interesting. Are you sure your universe is like that? Mediocre. After hearing all the answers from the universe supreme masters, he shook his head. Without the instructions from the more powerful beings, he said, you can't even think of a more sophisticated way to create universes. None of you 7 can inherit Wandong River, and you don't have enough potential. If you can solve 6,000 puzzles, we'll be willing to pay the price. However, you're too underqualified to receive the inheritance from my Wandong River. The 7 universe supreme masters looked at each other, discouraged that they had come here trying to receive inheritance. They were at a disadvantage when playing the Rhinoceros Emperor game, and they were discriminated against because of their miniature universes. All the other 292 great beings were calm, even those great beings from the first universe era. After all, it wasn't discrimination against a particular power. Instead, none of the universe supreme masters were qualified to enter the next round. I didn't expect that there were mysteries behind forming miniature universes, Luo Feng thought. That's right. Universe supreme masters are already the top beings in the original universe. As for the universe structures, only the greater beings from the ancient civilization can tell which one is better. This was what inheritance meant. It was based on the experience of the elder generations, and they found a path to becoming the pinnacle being. The elder generations paid a great price for it, and it was so invaluable that even the 2 ancestors from Holy Land longed for it. None of you 7 are qualified. Wandong River looked down. Aside from you 7, none of the candidates from the Divine Eye Clan are qualified, and they're all going to die. Divine Eye Clan? Luo Feng was dazed. What? Dear Bugmaster was surprised as well. The Divine Eye Clan isn't qualified? Blue Blood Knight was confused. Impossible. Sorcerer Sprite Master said, shocked. Everyone from the Divine Eye Clan was dazed. Hong. 7th True Master took out the Supreme True Treasure Ice Cliff Fortress. He immediately went into Ice Cliff Fortress, which grew larger. The fortress on the mountain looked elegant and delicate. 7th True Master transmitted his voice, come in. Everyone from the Divine Eye Clan entered Ice Cliff Fortress. All the 28 candidates from the Divine Eye Clan entered Ice Cliff Fortress. It landed on the floor, followed by a furious voice saying, Master Wandong River, why aren't we qualified? Why do we all need to die? Why are we discriminated against? If you really don't want us to receive inheritance, why didn't you tell us when we were being inspected just like you did to the Skeleton Clan? If you had told us beforehand, we wouldn't have come in. The candidates from the Divine Eye Clan were indeed infuriated. However, they all knew that they needed to have the argument from inside Ice Cliff Fortress. After all, even Wandong River couldn't hurt them if they were in a Supreme True Treasure Palace, especially when Wandong River was already dead. That's right. Why the double standard? You gave us hope, and you let us despair. Why did you only tell us we're not qualified and we all have to die at this moment? Clearly, the Divine Eye Clan was infuriated. Wandong River looked down. It's a request from my friend. I owe him one, so I said yes.